Hey guys, it's the Dank American, and I came across something that I thought was pretty interesting. This article here from the Hollywood Reporter says, Inside Trump's War on Big Media, Beat the Press. So a few weeks ago, President Trump made a short video that was played during the halftime of the college football championship game between Ohio State and Notre Dame.
Hello to my great fellow Americans. This has been a historic and exciting day for our country. In recent years, our people have suffered greatly, but starting now, we're going to bring America back and make it safer, richer, and prouder than ever before.
Now there's more to this clip, but the rest of it essentially is Trump stating that the country is regaining its foothold and we're entering a new golden age. I agree with all of that, and I didn't find anything objectionable to what he said, but apparently some did.
Breaking news. The NFL is reportedly removing the End Racism logo from the Super Bowl end zone after the White House announced that President Donald Trump would attend the event on Sunday. NFL sources told The Athletic that End Racism would not appear in the end zone for the first time since 2021. The message is "Choose love and it takes all of us" would be seen instead. Cowards. Holy sh*. The guy who says he's the least racist person anybody knows would be offended by an innocuous phrase that says "end racism." And really, the NFL should be ashamed of themselves. With so many people of color represented, they are sending the wrong message. Damn it. The fact that "end racism" would be a disagreeable statement to the President of the United States truly shows we live in the twilight zone.
I do really like what this guy down here said, pointing out the race grift. That's exactly what it is. End racism is a symptom of the race hustling, mansion swiping organization only known as Black Lives Matter. It's disingenuous. But outside of some random people on Twitter freaking out over this, you had ESPN employees also having a fender bender on Trump's message, one of them calling it bonkers. I'm a little mystified over why the person chose to remain anonymous and why he or she thinks it was quote-unquote bonkers. There's also an ambiguity to who was behind the decision to put this video out during the game. Neither ESPN chairman Jimmy Pitaro or Disney CEO Bob Iger want to claim responsibility, and I don't know why the hell they wouldn't. This is the perfect opportunity to regain some of the goodwill both companies lost over the years. Bob Iger especially could gain a lot from taking ownership of this decision. He's responsible for a lot of Disney's lost goodwill, and even though he'll try to deny it now, Bob Iger relished in the awful policies that make Disney what it is now.
Well, I mean, Bob has talked about this eloquently since he's become CEO. I'll say a couple of things about it. You know, we've tended to shy away from politics. And in doing so, I think we've shied away from talking about issues that aren't political at all, like the issues that we're talking about today. Because we believe in doing so, maybe it looks like we're taking a stand. Well, in that reality, we should be taking a stand. I take responsibility for this. I was CEO for 15 years. And so I manage the company's public-facing processes and how we were portraying ourselves. And I think that we have to be less cautious, as Bob, I think, was just alluding to, about such things and not be concerned, like just commenting about what happened in Washington last week. That's not political on our part at all. We know that what we saw was fundamentally wrong and that it was rooted in hatred and disrespect and contempt and intolerance. And we should feel free as a company to comment about that.
But why?
So the article then says that these media moguls are in a pickle. They've drawn the ire of Trump's fury, and that's not good. Well, not good for them at least. The article says that they're trying to appear neutral. I just showed you how they're not neutral. And to take it one step further, you had the NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell signing off on the race grifting and racism shtick. The time to appear neutral is long gone. It's way too late for that. The best thing to do now is to course correct. And I'll give props where props are due. Disney has pulled back a little bit on certain things. Why did it even get this far? 60 Minutes released the full interview they did with Kamala Harris, and to no one's surprise, she is absolutely clueless.
Your plans are logical, make logical sense. The way Washington works is not logical. So how are you going to convince a divided Congress that what you say, your plans, are something that they should all agree to and provide to the American people when they've shown no inclination to do that up to this point?
Is that what you needed?
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. 30 seconds of silence, please, for John.
Closing in, the silence is suffocating.
The writer of this article, Stephen Zitchik, didn't like that this happened for some reason, saying that edited interviews have been standard practice since Edward R. Murrow. Obviously, edited interviews have been a thing for a long time. That's not what's in dispute here. What's going on is that Trump has been maligned by the media for almost a decade now. He's been likened to a fascist, a funny mustache man, a white supremacist. The lies are endless. And now that Trump is taking the fight right back to his enemies by advocating for transparency, that's an issue?
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
To make this even more hilarious, the article mentions that the majority shareholder of Parent Global, which owns CBS, has donated to Hillary Clinton and John Kerry and Mitt Romney. And Mitt Romney might as well be a Democrat, honestly. This isn't really surprising. CBS has a history of showing bias in their reporting. Just to give you one example, they got massive backlash for their article that had the headline, 3 Ways Companies Can Help Fight Georgia's Restrictive New Voting Law. And then they eventually shifted it to activists wanting to challenge new voting laws. So some CBS employees today might quit. And honestly, who cares? If you guys did your job, actually stuck to journalism ethics, and reported the facts objectively, none of this would be an issue. None of it. This professor whining about it being outrageous to settle is the biggest load of bullshit I've heard in a good while. Now you're comparing being an advocate for transparency and objectivity to McCarthyism?
Misty, please, only one of us can hallucinate at a time.
Am I taking crazy pills here? Did I fall into an alternate dimension where idiocracy is reality? Like, I don't even know what to say to this. Meanwhile, Jim Acosta has been fired from CNN, which is really funny to see given how much it's failing. But let's be real, CNN is still very left-wing. That's not going to change. You also have Bob Iger signing off on a $15 million payment to Trump because ABC host George Stephanopoulos said that Trump was found liable in a civil case for rape when it was for sexual abuse. All that comes from a crazy woman, E. Jean Carroll, who has been a victim of not only Trump, but a babysitter's boyfriend, a dentist, a camp counselor, an unnamed college date, an unnamed boss, and CBS's chief exec, Les Moonves. You can read all about this in her memoir. That aside, other executives such as Netflix CEO Ted Sarandos and Endeavor CEO Ari Emanuel have been making sure to keep close ties with Trump and his associates. We're starting to see companies really making a shift on how they approach their content, which is awesome. Trump is by no means perfect, but people are fed up with the lies about him. You still have many on the left that perpetuate the lie that he's a rapist.
All these journalists are like, Congresswoman, are you going to the inauguration? Congresswoman, are you going to the inauguration? Are you going to the inauguration? Let me make myself clear. I don't celebrate. So no, I'm not going to the inauguration.
What an idiot!
So now media companies are at a crossroads. Is it a wise move to continue pushing forward DEI or meritocracy? That's the million-dollar question. This article does make a good point that an affront to Trump can be seen as an affront to all that support him, and there's reason for that. Trump represents a return to normalcy. He's the antithesis to lunatics that advocate for open borders, DEI over merit, trans kids, you name it. Anything that makes our society worse or more degenerate, Trump is the opposition to that. This article also suggests that there's a danger towards playing up to Trump because no one knows what that limit would be. But just looking over the past couple of days tells me that this isn't something to worry about. Trump took on a lot of criticism for his recent stances on being fiercely loyal to Israel. He's not immune to legitimate criticism. The rest of the article talks about which CEOs are quote-unquote sucking up to Trump, but even the framing of that is wrong. A lot of course correction is taking place right now, and that's because we're coming out of an age of social media platforms censoring our speech and leftist progressive politics being ham-fisted down our throats everywhere. And if you call it out, you're an evil person. I'm sick of it. People are done with that. And like Trump said, we're now entering into a golden age. Thanks for watching. I hope you found this useful, and if you haven't, I thank you for watching this far anyway.
I feel the walls closing in. The silence is suffocating. You were my guiding light. Now shadows fill up